This week on Channel 8 News, we'll take a look at some government updates, talk with a SAC representative, and the Chiefs Parade.
Your Channel 8 News starts right now.
Thank you for tuning in to Channel 8 News. I'm Keegan Cooper.
And I'm Courtney Rowe.
On Tuesday, February 4th, was the annual State of the Union address given by the President. It came the day before his trial hearing in the Senate. When it all came to an end, Nancy Pelosi ripped up her copy of Donald Trump's speech.
On Wednesday, February 5th, the Senate released their decision made on President Donald Trump's impeachment case. Chief Justice John Roberts was the one to announce Trump's acquittal on both articles of impeachment in the Constitution. Only one senator voted against the president, and that was Mitt Romney, giving an emotional statement to the Senate before the vote.
With my vote, I will tell my children and their children that I did my duty to the best of my ability, believing that my country expected it of me. I will only be one name among many, no more, no less, to future generations of Americans who look at the record of this trial. They will note merely that I was among the senators who determined that what the president did was wrong. Grievously wrong.
The Iowa caucus debates are the first ones in the presidential season, either giving candidates a good boost or cutting off the ones who didn't quite cut it. Hallie Cornelius has the story.
The 2020 Iowa Democratic Caucus results have come to an end. Candidates have been rallying all across Iowa all the way up until Saturday of February the 1st. The winner has been announced finally, with Pete Buttigieg winning with 26.2%. Followed by him, however, is Bernie Sanders, who ran in a previous election with 26.1%.
And half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. If you're an older worker, the likelihood is you have zero saved up for retirement.
Bernie only lost by 0.1%, meaning he only had one delegate vote against him. Followed by him was Elizabeth Warren, a female candidate running for the 2020 presidency. She had 18%, and then behind her was Joe Biden. I talked to some of his volunteers.
I love the guy personally. I think he's a great person. Secondly, I work for a union, the National Association of Government Employees, and our union endorsed him a few weeks back, and we're all volunteering out here, coming up from all over the country to volunteer to work for him.
Another one of his supporters even flew all the way from California to come to Iowa and see him and then knock on people's doors in support. What brought you here to the Iowa caucus?
Joe Biden, but the big picture is we have to work really hard everywhere in every state to get him to the general election so we can vote him in November. And I trust him, and he is a man of character that I feel will straighten the ship and, like he wants to do, restore the soul of the nation. I just trust in him. I'm as old as he is, and I'm doing this for my grandchildren.
Behind him, there were several other candidates in the running, Anna Klobuchar being one of them.
So what I am asking you to do for me, because I was not here last week, I couldn't go to every town like I wanted to and do all 99 counties for a second time. I am asking you to run for me.
Behind her placed Andrew Wang with 1% of the votes.
The wave is our chance to rewrite the rules of this economy to start working for us and our people and not just these big companies that have been running our government for far too long.
Although the Iowa Democratic Caucus is the first of many, it is not set in stone. Candidates who did not do as well still have the opportunity to come back.
Thanks, Hallie.
When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the events happening around the Northwest campus, so don't go away.
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. I'm Keegan Cooper.
And I'm Courtney Rowe.
Will Linder sat down with the SAC representative to catch up on how their events are going.
Hi, welcome back to Channel 8 News here on KNWT Channel 8. We're going to take a look at what's happening on the Northwest campus this week. I'm your host, Will Linder, and joining me, sitting right next to me, is President of Student Activities Council, Kyle Harris.
Howdy.
Now, Kyle, there was a lot of interesting stuff that happened last night with Step Africa. Would you care to share what happened?
Yeah, so Step Africa is a dance crew. They practice traditional African stepping, and they are actually like world recognized for it. They're really good at what they do, and they came to Northwest to show us how they do it. It was a really fun, interactive event. They did a lot of their dancing, and they showed different, African styles of dances. They did the South African gumshoe dance, and different regions and how the different dances were used to communicate and what those dances, like when they were danced. And then they pulled some Northwest students up and they showed them how to do the dances. So that was really cool. I think it was really interactive and fun for the students that showed up.
Do you know how that atmosphere was? Was it was it joyful? There was a lot of people moving around and stuff. As far as dancing goes, I'd feel like it'd be kind of a really fun event to go to, quite honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were really good at just pulling audience attention. There was a lot of like call and response, like when I say hey, you say ho, like that type of stuff. So yeah, you could hear the auditorium from a ways away because they had the entire group, chanting and yelling and clapping the entire show, which is cool.
Sounds like a really fun event to do. I hope you guys do more dance things, quite honestly. Valentine's Day is coming up, and you guys are actually doing a flowergrams deal at the Student Union. Care to talk to us more about that?
Yeah, sure. So all last week we had sign-ups for flowergrams, which meant that students could go to the union and write down the names of a friend, a special someone, or even themselves that they wanted to receive some roses. And then this week, those people will get an email as to when and where to come pick their roses up. It'll be in the student union, and it's a lot of fun. It's a free program for students, so it's good if, like me, you have to get your girlfriend something for Valentine's Day and you want to do it on the cheap. This is a great way to do it.
I think that's an excellent idea, quite honestly. Does it cost money at all to send these roses to people?
No, absolutely not. The entire program's free. And this year we started adding little notes to go along with the roses. So you can tell them who sent the roses and why, which is fun, or you can leave it anonymous and they'll never know.
You could send roses to your girlfriend or your friends or your professors maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, we did have some professors who are receiving roses this year, which is new. That's never happened before.
I think that's great. And then finally, my last question is, what kinds of events does the Student Activities Council have planned for this upcoming semester?
So actually right now we're entering our planning stage for next semester and next year. We do have a couple more events this semester, most of which start up in March because February is a pretty quick month. We don't have a lot going on. But this is the time of year where we start to plan for next year, where we're going to be attending a conference soon where we'll be looking at different comedians and lecture speakers and all the kinds of different acts. And so this is when we start planning for what happens next year.
And then finally, for those people who want to get in touch with the Student Activities Council, do you guys have any social media that they can follow?
Absolutely. We're all across the board, NWSAC on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and then definitely, if you're interested, the best way to get involved is Thursdays at 5. Meet us in the boardroom.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll have more content with Kyle next week. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Will.
When we come back, we'll take a look at some more recent news and events, so don't go away.
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. I'm Keegan Cooper.
And I'm Courtney Rowe.
The month of February is also Black History Month. Kirsten Stokes talks more on what it entails.
In the United States, Black History Month is celebrated in February. Communities come together to reflect on the progress that Black people have made and express their gratitude to the ones who have paved the way for them. The origin of Black History Month comes from Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who established Negro History Week to bring awareness to Black curriculum being taught in U.S. schools. Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, two people who greatly impacted Black people in America, were also born in February. So to acknowledge them, Woodson created the week to be in that month. In 1976, President Ford declared the full month of February to be Black History Month, and every president following him would do the same. Now we all know the three main people who are acknowledged for their determination in action: Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman. But what about three other Black entrepreneurs that made a lasting impact on the United States? even though Black History Month is only celebrated in February, that doesn't mean that questions can't be asked for the remaining 336 days of this year. So I hope you guys are more informed about Black History Month and understand why it's so important for the Black community. Signing off, this was Kirsten Stokes. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Kirsten.
After waiting a long 50 years, the Kansas City Chiefs finally won the Super Bowl. Last Wednesday morning, fans lined up in the cold for a parade to celebrate the big win. The traffic was packed for the night before, and some fans even got there as early as 3 a.m. The Chiefs parade went down a 2-mile stretch in downtown Kansas City and ended with a huge rally at Union Station. There was an estimated total of 1 million fans gathered for the big celebration. The giant sea of red was definitely hard to miss.
On Saturday, February 8th, local high schoolers rounded up at the Ron Housen Center for a show choir competition. The event started early in the morning and went until around 9 p.m. Anna Horn, one of the event volunteers, talks more on the competition.
This is a super competitive day for all these schools. They have different sections that the schools fall into depending on how big their school is. So we have our small, medium, large, and extra large ensembles.
They had 3 division winners, with St. Sacians, the Aquinas, as the overall grand champions.
February 14th is SAC Flowergram Pickup Day. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., students who received an email from SAC will be able to pick up the roses that have been sent to them. So, we're expecting some roses, guys.
Just a dozen. Just a dozen. Well, that's all the time we have for Channel 8 News.
For stories that matter to you, catch Channel 8 News every Monday through Thursday at 6:15 p.m. right here on KNWT Channel 8.
Amazing Things is up next from all of us here at Channel 8 News. I'm Keegan Cooper.
And I'm Courtney Rowe, and we'll see you later.